Hello, everybody. It's been a while. I've been pretty busy, and there really hasn't been all that much going on in the news. I mean, there was, but there wasn't. Um, just nothing really worth doing a podcast for, in my opinion. And as I said, I also had other things going on. But anyway, today things seem to be heating up quite a bit. You know, you have Tucker Carlson out at Fox News. Dan Bongino just a couple days ago. He's also gone. Don Lemon fired from CNN. The implosion of Project Veritas. Susan Rice, she's gone. RFK, he's announced that he's running for president in 2024. Hunter Biden's lawyers expected to meet with the DOJ. And Joe Biden has yet to announce his run for president in 2024. Although it's being said that tomorrow, well, technically today, I guess by the time you listen to this, he'll be announcing his run for president as well. I know a lot of you guys are really excited about that. I mean, who doesn't want more of Joe Biden? Uh, all the great things that he's done. Anyway, before we get too into it, first a word from today's sponsor, and then we'll get into it. Today's video sponsor is CBD Gummies. Do you have chronic pain, anxiety, stress, or trouble sleeping? There's a natural remedy for that. Get relief up to 5 times faster with CBD Gummies. These gummies use a nanotechnology to get you relief within 15 minutes, as opposed to traditional CBD edibles that can take up to 30 minutes to 2 hours to kick in. This nanotechnology allows CBD to be absorbed by your stomach, entering your bloodstream and bypassing the process of metabolization. Get your CBD gummies today at kofefi.click/gummies. kofefi.click/gummies. Okay, so we're back. So let's start at the top. Tucker Carlson fired. Or, I don't know if he was fired. He left. We'll just say that. He left Fox News. A lot of people seem quite surprised. And I guess in one way, you could say that I think he was the highest rated show in cable news. Why would you fire the guy? But you also have to look at who is one of the biggest advertisers for Fox News, and the answer to that would be Pfizer. And Tucker Carlson's been pretty vocal about vaccines, and that kind of had to be a conflict of interest to some extent. Also, I don't really believe in coincidences, and neither should you, but we also have the Ray Epps 60 Minutes episode, and Tucker Carlson has done a pretty damn good job of exposing Ray Epps and January 6th. Although, to be honest with you guys, I do think that he was told to back off when the J6 footage episodes came out. I don't think he went all in. I think he was neutered. It's just my opinion. You also have the Dominion lawsuit with Fox News. As I said in the beginning of this, Dan Bongino claims it was just a contractual thing. But in my opinion, there would probably be some type of agreement they made where he probably wouldn't be able to speak about an NDA of some sort. Don Lemon fired from CNN. To me, that's a little bit more surprising than the Tucker Carlson. Fox News, me personally, I haven't watched it in years. It's a crap network. They clearly hate us. With Paul Ryan and, the Republican establishment types behind it, it's really just not a good network. It's really no different than CNN. I'd say it's controlled opposition. I haven't watched it in a really long time. I did watch the Tucker Carlson episodes on the January 6th footage, and I thought it was a big letdown, to be honest with you. Anyway, you also have the implosion of Project Veritas going on at the same time. I mean, who would have thought getting rid of James O'Keefe would have been a good idea, right? The face of Project Veritas. Uh, you know, and then you have the Republican establishment continuing to push Ron DeSantis, which, in my opinion's it's like an unfunny joke, really. Um, I'm sure by now you guys have seen the footage that has come out from Japan. Uh, well, Ron DeSantis was doing the bobblehead, very similar to Hillary Clinton. Uh, Kind of strange, really awkward. Um, I mean, when you look at something like that, you have to ask yourself, how is it that anybody in their right mind thinks that he's going to be able to debate on a stage with a savage like Donald Trump, who has been in the media for a really long time? He doesn't get nervous. Ron DeSantis is obviously a very socially awkward, weird um, individual. The people of Florida, I mean, I guess until he announces he's running for president, I think that's going to piss him off. But the people of Florida don't really look at those weird mannerisms, in my opinion, because he's done some pretty good things for Florida, or at least it appears that way. A lot of people are new to Florida, and they may not know that Florida was great way before Ron DeSantis. Um, who knows? But you also have Susan Rice. Pretty much, if Vin Diesel was going to be a transgender, he probably looks something like Susan Rice. But anyway, she's gone, a nice Obama person. And, I had reported quite some time ago that the Democrats don't want Joe Biden to run. And I know a lot of you seem to think that that's insane. That's okay. But the information's accurate. They do not want Joe Biden to run. And you're seeing some of the Obama people jumping ship. It's kind of strange that you have RFK announce his run for president before Joe Biden. And the Democrats are already saying that there's going to be no primary debates. Now, I know that there's a talking point going around that, you don't have primary debates for an incumbent president. The guy hasn't even announced he's running yet. And not only that, but it would really go by polling. And if there were any candidates that had a certain percentage above, I don't know. I don't know what that number is. This is not my wheelhouse of knowledge. But I would imagine that it would be depending on the amount of support they have. If there's no support, why would you even bother wasting your time debating? And it's like that even in the regular primaries too. Only candidates within, if you have 1%, you're not even going to be on the debate stage. So I don't know why it would be any different. But how could you already have decided that you're not going to do debates when Joe Biden hasn't even announced he's running for president yet, and RFK has? So that's kind of strange. At the same time, you have the liberal media who once ran cover for the Hunter Biden story. Now you have CNN exposing it. And you've got to ask yourself, well, why? What's going on? As Joe Biden is about to announce, now they're starting to run that. There's rumor that Hunter Biden is, in fact, currently living at the White House to evade process servers, something to do with his baby mama, and I don't know, she's suing him for something, I guess. And he's hiding out in the White House uh, just so he can't be served papers. That's pretty. That's pretty lame. And then there's also Hunter Biden's lawyers about to meet or have met with the Department of Justice. I don't personally expect anything earth shattering to come out of that, but you could see once again there are signs that people are starting to get nervous. And the thing is that once again, Merrick Garland is an Obama guy. Don't think for a minute that he won't prosecute Hunter Biden just so Obama could get whoever it is that he wants in there. And I think the answer to that is Michael. I mean, Floppy Mike. I mean, Michelle. Yeah, Michelle. Uh, so that's kind of a little weird. But Trump, though, orange man bad. Don't worry about Biden. We'll just ignore everything there. Um, and if you listen to Benny Johnson's show today, he made a point to say that he thinks the thing that the Bidens are the most concerned with is that gun crime where he lied, um, knowingly using drugs when he applied for a pistol permit, I believe it was, lied about being on drugs when he was on drugs. And apparently, doing that, he could be punished up to 15 years in prison. Uh, so that's one of the more serious things that is a definite conviction. I mean, it's all well documented. It's not something you can hide. It's a pretty straightforward thing. Um, he obviously knew he was smoking crack and lying on the application about it not having a drug problem when he knows he was on drugs. Uh, and now you have the liberal media covering it. You got to ask yourself, why would they be doing that? I had said a long time ago, especially with the around the time of the Chinese balloons, which, by the way, you have China and these police stations. It's crazy how everybody acts like they never heard about that, but Dan Bongino blew that up. I don't know, 8 months ago, 9 months ago, maybe even close to a year ago, about the Chinese police stations in New York, and now there's like 5 other locations. You think that might have something to do with the Biden family being bought and paid for by China? I mean, you had the Chinese balloons. And at the same time that the Chinese balloon stuff was going on, I had said in uh, one of the videos that I did on Rumble uh, that the Democrats, they don't want Joe Biden. They need to get rid of Donald Trump. They need to elevate a guy like Ron DeSantis who couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag. I mean, look at that Japan situation. I mean, tell me that's the guy you think that could weather attacks like Trump got. And he's going to get them, right? A lot of people want to say, oh, yeah, we need somebody with less baggage. Oh, please. It doesn't matter who the hell you run. They're going to find something. And the only difference is Trump can weather the storm. Nobody else is going to be able to. That goofy bastard, Ron DeSantis, I mean, give me a break. That guy wouldn't last 5 minutes with even a quarter of the attacks that Donald Trump had. But they need to try to get rid of Trump. They need to elevate a weak candidate like Ron DeSantis. Um, and then they got to get rid of Joe Biden because a Joe Biden Kamala Harris ticket, I mean, give me a break. First of all, Joe Biden, he is just about brain dead. I mean, Fetterman might be a better choice at this point. And I'm not even being sarcastic. I mean, he's not exactly a Rhodes Scholar either, but I mean, anything is better than Joe Biden. And then just even the age itself. I mean, there's rumor that Joe Biden is planning to only serve like 6 months of his next term, the next term, assuming he gets there, and then he'd resign. So there's nobody. I have never met one single person that has ever tried to argue that Kamala Harris was a great pick for VP, let alone anybody who wanted her to be president. I mean, I don't even remember if it was 1% or 3% when she actually ran for president, but I mean that was like the most she could do. We'll be generous and say it was 3%, even though I think it was 1. So they can't do that. They need somebody popular. If you're gonna beat the right and you're gonna get turnout on the left, it's gonna have to be a popular candidate. And in my opinion, that would be floppy Mike Obama. Most of us understand that it's really been Barack Obama calling the shots for this first Biden term. And all you really need to do is take a good look at who's in this administration and who are they closer with. You know, Joe Biden, look at any time he goes anywhere. How is it that the guy doesn't even know where the hell he's ever supposed to be standing? And these are things that are practiced and rehearsed, and the Secret Service goes through it with all of them. How is it that he doesn't know? He just doesn't remember. And it's clear to anybody willing to be honest, even for just a minute, that this guy is in rapid cognitive decline. I don't even think Joe Biden knows he's president at this point. I think he thinks it's Obama and he's just hanging out there. He's still the VP or something. It's sad. It's pathetic. It's sad. Hopefully people are starting to wake up. However, I still don't see people talking about the one and only thing we really should be talking about, and that's election security. There's no doubt in my mind that Donald Trump has the votes to win. The problem is if those votes don't count, then you don't win. Even though you did win, you're still not going to make it to the White House, just like 2020. And we've really done nothing to secure the election. And it's a conversation a lot of people just don't want to have. I've had it enough times. People aren't too receptive to it. I think it's a big mistake. And, I have to point that out here. So hopefully people start waking up. Hopefully we start taking steps to secure the election. I can't honestly think of one reason why they wouldn't just steal the next one. But a lot of people are convinced that they're not going to. And quite frankly, I just don't agree with that. And the last thing I wanted to talk about before I end this is a podcast done by Raheem Kassam. Click the bloody link. When I started doing a bunch of podcast and video stuff, I noticed that a lot of people were sharing the content. A lot of people were liking the content. But not that many people were actually viewing, listening to, or clicking through the content. One of the things that the left does particularly well is organize and support one another. Now, to support a show or a podcaster or whatever doesn't always involve money, donating and paying to subscribing. I know myself personally, my Substack's free, and I'd go subscribe. Go to Substack, Up and Smoke Podcast with Dr. Sativa. You'll find it. Subscribe. It's free. You'll get announcements when I post articles or podcasts or things like that. It's a great way to get notifications, especially when things like Twitter suspend accounts. You know, I did just a 6-day suspension for saying Stormy Daniels was a whore the other day. And not even to her. I said to Pierce Morgan, because he was bragging about his ratings, and I said, well, you know, you should have more than 300,000 views when you interview a whore. And apparently, Elon Musk's Twitter thinks that you should, you know, lock people out of their accounts for that. So, you know, to subscribe to something like a Substack is important because nothing can stop that, and you can get an email and notification when there's new content there. But we've got to get in the habit of supporting content creators on our side. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck with the mainstream media, which we all know that you probably shouldn't trust. Um, they have a very bad track record. They haven't told the truth in years, and I wouldn't expect them to start doing so now. So if you want podcasters that you like to stay around, you have to do something to support them. One of the best things that you could do is actually share their content, but click through it, look around, click on the show sponsors. Even if you don't purchase the product, just clicking through shows that sponsor that it's beneficial to them to sponsor shows like this. We need to learn how to fight. And one of the best ways we can fight back is to support people in the movement that are pushing the stories and getting them out there and getting around all the censoring on social media. It's not easy getting messages out these days. So for people who are able to do it, you really need to do everything you can to help support it. And you can easily do so for free by just clicking and viewing the content that we create. That's really all I have to say here. If you would, please like and share this everywhere. And don't forget, click the link. Goodbye.